Mark Miller. Smart Leadership. 4 simple choices to scale your impact. Have you ever seen the movie Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade? If so, you'll no doubt remember the scene where Indy has to choose the Holy Grail from a plethora of cups. Legend has it that whoever drinks from it will gain immortality. He's struggling to choose when along comes the anti-hero who's also after the cup. Indy allows him to pick first. Aided by his assistant, he plumps for a golden chalice and drinks from it. Within seconds, the villain experiences an agonizing death. The knight who's been guarding the cup then says his famous line, "He chose poorly." Indy then picks out a simple cup, one that could have been made by a carpenter. The knight agrees with his choice and says, "You have chosen wisely." You'll doubtless never face that kind of choice, but it illustrates how often choices can be difficult and how devastating the wrong choice can be. You want to make the right choice, the one that will have the most favourable impact, that will be most effective, that will add value. After all, your choices affect everyone around you. In this blink, you'll discover what the author Mark Miller calls the 4 smart choices, together with some strategies and tactics to help you get started. Ready to breathe new life into your leadership skills? Then let's press on with some smart choices that will bring out the smart leader within you. Smart choices will help you escape from the quicksand. Do you ever feel like you're swimming in quicksand? The harder you work, the deeper you sink. Progress and success seem out of reach, your career and life somehow unfulfilling. Many leaders have these thoughts. Indeed, most seem to be facing an ever-increasing list of challenges. Just like quicksand, they don't see it coming, and once they're in, they feel helpless and alone. That quicksand has a tight grip, and it's difficult to get out of. So what do many leaders do? They just find a way to cope. They learn to swim in the quicksand. Everyone's quicksand is personal. For some, it's the endless, often unproductive meetings. Others are swamped with emails, text, and social media posts. Some have colleagues interrupting their flow, and many find the complexity of life is simply escalating. Don't relate to any of those? Well, what is it that's holding you back? What's stopping you from being impactful? The story of your own success? Complacency? A lack of inertia? Fatigue? Circumstances beyond your control? No matter what your personal quicksand is, rest assured there is a way out. First off, let's pinpoint exactly what your quicksand is. Take a pen and notepad and jot down your top 3 impediments. Why not add them to your phone for quick reference too? As you progress through this blink, refer to these constantly. By the end, you should be able to formulate a plan to escape from these. Viktor Frankl said that there's a space between a stimulus and your response. In that space, you have the power to choose how you respond. Therein lies your path to growth and freedom. Sure, we may not all have the same degree of access to make choices, but the choices you can make give you both agency and opportunity. In the next 4 sections, you're going to learn about the 4 smart choices. These choices are ones that have a high impact and require you to focus. Individually, they each have their own value, but together, they'll unleash your real power and multiply your impact. Confront reality regularly and plan for your future reality. The first responsibility of a leader is to define reality. So said Max Dupree, the former CEO of the furniture company Herman Miller. Although this may seem obvious, many leaders have difficulty confronting their reality. Why is that? Well, there are several reasons, including a fear of failure, living in denial, arrogance, short-term thinking, and even being just too busy. The thing is that if you want to stay grounded in truth and lead from strength, you must confront reality. The first step in doing that is to define your universe. Start by examining your leadership. Ask yourself, how well am I leading? Do I have any blind spots? Then think about your team. Is everyone in your team exceptional or only good enough? What about your leadership team? Next, think about your organization. Is it performing well against its potential? Are you getting the results you want from your plans and strategies? You need to look at more personal aspects of your universe too. Ask yourself, what is my life like right now? Am I living sustainably? Can I continue doing what I'm doing for the next 10, 20, or 30 years? Am I participating at work, at home, and in the community to the levels I want to? Next, move on to your relationships. Are they healthy? Who is it that gives you energy and who drains it from you? What about your financial situation? Are you living within your means? Do you have debts? Have you prepared adequately for your future? What about your health? Are you getting enough sleep and exercise? Is your current diet good for you? If you're a spiritual person, how connected do you feel to your higher power? What about your role in the community? Are you having an impact outside of your family circle? And finally, what kind of legacy will you leave? Wow, that's a lot of questions. So, what do you do with all the answers? First, remember, this reality inventory is only your starting point, your base camp. Confronting your reality is a continuous process. Keep confronting it and checking where your reality currently lies. Think about where you want your reality to be in the future and where are the gaps that you need to fill. Make plans on how to fill the gaps and reach your desired future reality. Don't just look at this by yourself either. Get some fresh eyes to look at your reality with you. Find someone who might see flaws in your assumptions or see where you've been blinded by your biases. They might also be able to give you new ideas. Consider paying a consultant who will tell you the truth, not just what you want to hear. Alternatively, if you don't already have one, find a mentor to work with or hire a professional coach. All of these people can help you confront your reality. Are you ready to take action to confront your reality right now? Then grab a notebook and pen. Write down areas where you need to confront reality. What is true of those areas today? What would you like to be true in those areas in the future? Start building your plan to get there. Grow your capacity and create margin for reflection. In 1913, Ford introduced the assembly line. This brought production time for the Model T down from 12 hours to a mere 1 hour and 33 minutes. This increased capacity heralded a new era of mobility for people and products. In our modern world, computers have increased capacity levels to even higher levels and have allowed amazing feats such as the sequencing of the human genome to be completed with ease. At the time Smart Leadership was written, the fastest computer was in Japan and had 7.3 million cores and a speed of 415.5 petaflops. Baffled? Don't worry, Miller is, and so are we. But one thing we can be sure of is that with the capacity that creates, it's sure to change the world. But although that's the technological side of capacity growth, there's also the human aspect. We're all bursting with potential, and we have a duty to release it. So let's take a look at how we can go about doing just that. First, step back and look at yourself. Start with your calendar. Eliminate anything that's a low or no value-added activity. For example, if you're invited to a meeting, ask the organizer which part of the meeting you're needed for and consider attending only that part. Next, chunk activities together by taking similar activities and putting them together in your calendar. Consider using an activity tracking app too, so you can see exactly where you're spending your precious time. Create margin in your calendar. This is time for reflection, assessment, thinking, and planning. It's time when you get those insights that otherwise you'd have no time for. It isn't an optional extra, but a necessity. Think about taking a whole day to think and reflect. Can't afford that? Take half a day, even a few hours, but do it. Do you want to do something immediate to grow your capacity? Then grab your calendar and eliminate one or more meetings or activities each week for the coming month. And while you're there, schedule in that margin too. Fueling your curiosity will create new opportunities. Back in 2003, Miller met the CEO of grocery chain Super Quinn in Ireland. At that time, Fergal Quinn had around 30 stores. Quinn talked to his customers, almost to the point of obsession. Indeed, you could argue that he was undertaking a weekly customer focus group. He had an insatiable curiosity and love for his customers. Think for a moment about the last time you spoke to your customers, or better, listened to them. If you want to be a leader who can achieve maximum impact, you need to learn to flex your curiosity muscles. Rather than suppress the curiosity beast inside you, fuel it. A good place to start is to find out how stable your world is. Ask yourself these questions. How have my customers' expectations changed over the last year? Have my employees' expectations changed since I first became their leader? How have the company's strategies changed over the last 5 years? Have my own goals changed as my career has progressed? What technologies are shaping my business today? Am I facing a competition that makes my work more of a challenge? In The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey said that we live in a world of perpetual white water. He was right. Even if your water isn't already choppy, it likely will be soon, and that means you need to be even more creative and curious. It's you who'll need to navigate the white water ahead. How? By finding the solutions others can't, by asking questions, by learning from the people around you, and by working for a better tomorrow. All of these things are fueled by your curiosity. Your curiosity will open up new opportunities too. Keep asking, what if, while you look for new ideas. Take some imaginary trips into the future and see what it holds for you. As you fuel your own curiosity, it'll become contagious as others find their interest piqued. It'll be great for your organization too. Research shows that curiosity leads to more creativity in decision-making, more respect for leaders, and more collaboration within teams. Fueling your capacity is very much dependent on growing your capacity, as we outlined in the previous section. So remember that each of these smart choices is interlinked with the others. Wondering how you can spark your curiosity? How about asking more questions? Get out and about more and talk to new people with fresh ideas. And, of course, spend more time reading and perhaps listening to a wide variety of information. Curious enough to fuel your curiosity starting now? Then think of something in your life or in leadership that you'd like to improve. Could you create some kind of low-cost prototype you could test out? Then do it, try it, learn from it, and try again. Create change for a better future. The management consultant and author Peter Drucker said, "The best way to predict the future is to invent it." And that neatly brings us to the fourth and final smart choice. Create change for a better tomorrow. Ultimately, that is the role of a leader, to help move people and organizations toward a preferred future. Like the fictional Luke Skywalker of Star Wars fame, you must learn to use the force within you, your strength, insight, and abilities. Channel those and use them as a force for good in the world. In the end, it will be your thoughts that affect your actions, and your actions that shape the outcome. Imagine a line with, "My actions do impact outcomes" at one end, and "My actions don't impact outcomes" at the other. Most people's worldview lies somewhere on that continuum, depending on how much they favour one or other of those statements. Wherever you are on that line right now, you need to shift your mindset to one of influence. After all, you can't hope yourself to a better future. You have to behave your way there. So when you select your next project, large or small, focus on what's actually under your control and apply your energy to that or those areas. Think about what actions you can take and do to make significant progress. Want to run a marathon? Identify the steps you need to take to get there. Read a book on how to do it. Start running according to a well-defined plan, and that might mean starting by walking. If you make mistakes along the way, and you will, document them. Make notes on why things went wrong and learn from them. And when it comes to the project after that one, repeat, repeat, and repeat again. To help you see change, you need to develop a growth mindset. This means committing to learning and growing throughout your life. You can't just try. Harking back to Star Wars, you may remember that Luke has difficulty during his training and becomes frustrated. "I'm trying," he tells Yoda, the Jedi Master. But Yoda's response is exactly what you need to adopt in your approach to your growth mindset. Try not. Do or do not. There is no try. So learn something new every day. Write down at least one thing you've learned at the end of each day. At the end of the week, review what you learned. And why not share what you've learned too? As you learn, celebrate your progress. With your growth mindset, you'll find that the force will also be strong in you. Make sure you use it wisely. Are you ready to take action? Then choose a situation in your life or leadership you want to change and begin that change today. In this Blink to Smart Leadership by Mark Miller, you've learned that there are 4 fundamental smart choices you need to make. Confront your reality, grow your capacity, fuel your curiosity, and create your change. Each of these individually will have a high impact, but together they'll turbo boost your power to have an even greater impact. Although you may make some regrettable choices along the way, and sometimes you'll exhibit some inconsistency, don't be disheartened. Stand back from those regrets and inconsistencies. Learn from them, and make a better choice the next time. Be like Indy. Choose wisely. If you've already started by completing the tasks in this Blink, you're well on your way to making impactful, smart choices. Ultimately, your level of success will depend entirely on you. Thanks so much for listening. Please leave us a rating or a comment. We always appreciate your feedback. See you in the next Blink.